His target time on the split is the time of Derek Daly in the rear-engine Lancia Stratos, 1 minute 14.5. Watson, 137 Grand Prix behind him, but very little experience of this kind of running, although he has driven in the rally sprint events before. Through the water splash successfully, and it's very, very, very critical to get through there quick, to keep momentum on, to get into this uphill section, to keep the power down and round this left-hander. Downhill. This is the man who has driven for Surtees in Formula One, for Penske, for whom he won the Austrian Grand Prix years ago, for Brabham, for McLaren. And now his target, 2 minutes 10.1, and he's going to be pretty close to it. The target is Derek Daly's Lancia Stratos time. But no, it's going to be... I think John's going to be second fastest, 2 minutes. No, he's behind Nigel Mansell with 2 minutes 12.6, and he's fourth fastest. Tony Pond in a Ford Escort, and what is strange about that? Well, Tony Pond has made his name driving Triumphs and Talbots, Opels, GM Chevers in South Africa, Vauxhalls, Datsuns, Rovers even. But he's had very little competitive driving in a Ford Escort. Indeed, although he won the Tour of Britain in an Escort years ago, he's hardly ever appeared in one since. Well, he's here in one today. Having to get used to the car, he has only had one practice run, so it's totally new to him, although I guess the handling characteristics will not be dissimilar to the Vauxhall Chevette, in which Pond has been so enormously successful. And his challenge, therefore, is to get as far up in the list as he can against Derek Daly, who is fastest in the Stratos, against Nigel Mansell, Grand Prix driver, who is second fastest in the Toyota, against Dave Buttigieg, who is third fastest, the kart driver in the Talbot, against Grand Prix driver John Watson in the Vauxhall Chevette, who is fourth fastest. Now, the fastest split we have so far is still Derek Daly's, 1 minute 14.5. How is Tony Pond going against that? Slower, 9/10 of a second slower. But he is second fastest on the split so far. Now, the fastest that we have overall is 2 minutes 10.1. Derek Daly, who was as strange to the Lancia Stratos as Tony Pond here is to this particular Escort. So I guess it's a pretty fair match.
Brookes in the Chevette countered with a fine win on the tarmac stages of the Circuit of Ireland. And so after 2 rounds, Russell Brookes led the championship with 23 points. Jimmy McRae, despite being without a victory himself, had 22. And Stig Blomquist, who went out of the Irish, had the 15 points he gained from the Mintex. Bertie Fisher was fourth with 14. And so to the Welsh, a 26-hour event that started at Builth Wells, passed through the Brecfa Forest near Carmarthen, and then north to Ystwyth near Aberystwyth. On then to Machynlleth, and then at night driving through the Dyfi Forest south, returning to Builth Wells at dawn. After an hour or so's rest, the final loop took in the testing stages of the Epint military ranges, with the rally finishing at Llanrydod Wells. Here now is our report.
5, 4...
Familiar territory, familiar weather, familiar car. Stig Blomquist and the Audi Quattro could scarcely be hotter favourites as threatening rain clouds gather over central Wales. Since the Swede's crushing victory on the Mintex, his Quattro has undergone several minor chassis alterations. The result has been to make this fearsome 360 horsepower four-wheel drive device even more dominant on loose and slippery surfaces. And Blomquist is arguably its greatest exponent. Knowing that his best will almost certainly not be good enough to match the pace of the Quattro, British rally champion Jimmy McRae is nevertheless giving it everything he's got. Despite this early over-exuberance, he leads the race for second place in his brand new 270 horsepower Opel Manta, which has at last replaced his trusty Ascona. Evoking fond memories of its competition heyday, Pentti Arikala's Ford Escort is regrettably a sick machine from the start. He's being troubled by a persistent misfire. First of the Group A cars and leading the group in fine style is Per Eklund's 1600cc Toyota Corolla. Short of power for the uphill forest sections, but agile in the corners, Per is delighted whenever the road goes downhill. Finnish private entrant Lasse Lampi has brought his Audi Quattro to Wales to add some much welcome international flavour. A consistent rather than a kamikaze performer, he's nevertheless finding the pace easy to match. After a splendid professional drive on the circuit of Ireland in his Vauxhall Chevette, Russell Brookes has some added confidence to boost his vast experience of Welsh forests. Slotting immediately into third place behind McRae, he's looking to increase the pressure on the Scot when night falls. Can Terry Cabey and his Chevette end his run of bad luck here in Wales? Or is it going to be another disappointing weekend for the toasted driver? Things seem to have gone well for him so far, but then this is only the second special stage. No, it's not rear-wheel drive. Working hard in his attempts to keep in touch with Eklund, Malcolm Wilson is hoping that his car's suspect transmission will stay in one piece. And it looks like an early demise for Chris Lord's Mazda RX-7. Despite a new rotary engine fitted before the rally, Welsh water seems to have penetrated its vitals. And surprising is the word. The Group A small car class is being led by John Hogland's Skoda 120. Fourth in the championship, Berty Fisher has brought his Opel Ascona 400 over from Ireland in search of more points after a fine second place on the circuit. John Weatherly's early challenge in the Citroën Visa is hindered by a puncture. By the first service halt at Llanbyddir, Blomquist has pulled out a lead of 49 seconds over McRae and third place Brookes, despite both of them trying everything they know.
Enormous pothole, and we get a big wallop on that side, and it sounds as if it's buckled a wheel, and it's...